welcome to First Hour Replay, where I'm going to replay the first hour of Ace Combat 7 on hard after having completed it once already. We'll be weaving a bit of review into it, but I'll try to shut up for most of the cutscenes.
Does the color of the sky mean anything special to you? It does to me. A hell of a lot. When I close my eyes, the sky in my dreams is a deep, dark blue. Pilots have been in my family for 4 generations. Flying's in my DNA. Even so, my grandpa didn't want me joining the Air Force. He lost faith in the Ocean Air Defense the day my dad died in battle.
You know, Abby, I wish you could see what it's like up there. Cruising above the clouds, the dark blue of the stratosphere. Nothing beats being at the controls and seeing it from the cockpit. Look here.
Gramps tossed a magazine over to me with an article. Unmanned fighters are no longer a dream, it read. Pilots taking to the skies will soon be a distant memory.
I don't see anything good coming from that.
Know what? Lying smack dab in the middle of the desert west of here, there's a bunch of planes from the last war. Some of them have been mothballed, but most of them are just rusted piles of junk waiting to be scrapped. Gramps was really good friends with the super there, so he got to take whatever he wanted, no questions asked. That's how we got the parts to build our own plane. Now, when I say we, I mean me, my grandpa, and his old war buddies. I cut my teeth working with those geezers. They taught me their skills, and some dirty jokes. But with their aging eyeballs and whatnot, I ended up having to do most of the work myself. I was at the airstrip doing some flight training when I saw it. A prototype drone. It wasn't much of a plane, more of a trash can with wings.
Laugh at it all you want, kid. But technology's always changing. If you don't keep up with it, it'll leave your ass behind.
It took 6 years and 8 months to get that engine running. And it took us another 1.5 years after that to finally get the balance of the airframe just right. I'd gone from being a little girl to, well, still a girl, just older. But now, I was all alone. Wherever the souls of my Gramps and his pals are flying, I hope it's peaceful. Then, finally, I was ready to break the sound barrier. All this plane could do was take off, accelerate, then fly up. Straight up, through the clouds, higher into the sky. Dark blue. I could almost touch it. Then I saw Osius fighters. They were tailing something. A drone. They were going full out chasing that thing. Doing 30 Gs at least. Damn, I've never seen anything move that fast. It had a rose painted on it. The Erusian emblem. But that country's a whole continent away from here.
Right. You should have put me on the best with you, piece of junk. Should have built a deterrent too.
Is everyone here? Settle down. I said settle down. You have all been instrumental in helping to maintain peace in Usea as members of the International Union Peacekeeping Force. Until today. Earlier, our radar site informed us that a group of unidentified aircraft was approaching. Communication systems went down immediately afterwards. We are led to conclude that they have attacked the site. Here's your mission. It's possible that the Usean ceasefire agreement has been broken for the first time in over a decade. As of today, the Fort Grays Air Base Squadron of the IUPF has been put on high alert. All members who have been ordered to sortie, fly there immediately. Find the unidentified craft, then use your weapons to round them up and force them to land. If the hostiles counterattack, then you will...
What the hell was that?
There's smoke! We're under attack. Numerous unidentified aircraft confirmed overhead.
What? How is that possible?
The tank farm to the north has been bombed!
Many injured.
Scramble! All units, take off and eliminate the unidentified craft attacking the base! This is not a drill!
So, just as a warning, there will be some spoilers discussed, as this is my second playthrough and I will be weaving a bit of our review into this. The more formal review will be coming at a later time, but yeah, we'll be talking about it during the game. Now for those that haven't played this, you actually unlock additional aircraft throughout the game by actually purchasing them, and coming into a second playthrough you get to keep everything that you previously unlocked. So I'm jumping straight into using my F-35.
Mage Squadron, aircraft preparations complete. Stand by at the front.
I will say, on my first playthrough I felt like I wanted a glossary for a lot of this, especially given that they have Usea, Oshia, and Erugia as
radar site's still silent. Scramble. Get those birds in the sky. We're sitting ducks. What's happening? Bombers incoming. Don't know how many.
Let's clear that runway. We don't got all day here.
Mage Squadron, head to runway. Golem Squadron, take off. Link to Skykeeper. Hurry, Mage Squadron. Trigger, your call sign is Mage 2. Verify and meet back. Mage 2, clear for takeoff. Your situation is tight. It's a hell of a welcoming party. We are free to go. Good luck.
Control, do me a favor and get that bird in the air ASAP.
Mage 2, altitude restriction is lifted. Good luck.
The carrier. Whoa, looks like the harbor's taken a lot of damage.
Can't have any more casualties. Time to stop the bullshit. Mage 2, form up with Mage 1. All aircraft, let's do this. Golem Squadron, it's go time.
Roger that.
Golem 4, understood.
This is the AWACS Skykeeper. Take down all unidentified bombers. They don't have many escorts. They hit our radars hard in the last attack. Expect the worst and stay sharp.
We'll go. Trigger, I'm your wingman. Fly with me now. That's what it means to be in an element. You gotta keep an eye out for enemy bombers.
Enemy bomber confirmed down. Good job, Mage 2.
Not bad, Mage 2. Trigger, switch your radar. See if you can locate the enemy. There it is, sitting there all pretty, just waiting to be taken. They're way overhead. Let's go introduce ourselves.
Harbor fuel storage is intact. It's asking for another round. All escorts roll up for another attack. Point is 835.
Watch out for the support aircraft.
Enemy support eliminated. This should make the job easier. Destroy the target. Target confirmed bombers.
Trigger, stay calm. You got this. I know the kid's shown some promise, but let's remember, he's still barely got his feet wet.
Now, originally this mission is heavily tutorialized, and it's not replaying the tutorial part of this apparently for the second playthrough, but
That's it. It's regular simple.
nonetheless this is very well structured to take you through
Enemy
part
bomber
by
down.
part.
Nice going, Mage 2.
Not too shabby, Mage 2. But you still got a long way to go, kid. I'll give you some pointers back at base if you can make it in one piece. Skykeeper, this is Mage 1, over. Tally 2 bandits.
Copy that. It's a bomber and an escort.
Oh, there, Trigger, settle down. Mage 2, maintain your element with Mage 1. Do not break off. Mage 1, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. Wilco, Golem 2, let's maintain element.
Copy that, Commander. I've got your 6 coming, sir.
Radio.
Golem, Mage, 2 new enemy groups.
This is HQ. Attention all combat groups. Are there any drones? Verify.
Drones? Are you kidding me right now? Jesus, this is the kind of shit that really chaps my ass. UAVs. I can't tell them apart.
Broadly speaking, the story campaign of this fits into 3 arcs. In about the first hour we'll probably be able to get through most of the first arc, if not all of it.
Missile fired!
Harbor facilities and carriers destroyed. Combat package. Empty over the hangars and runways.
Mage 2's bandit confirmed down.
They can burn with their whole payload.
Bomber hit by a missile.
They have a lock on you, shake 'em!
Missile away. Missile connected. One remaining.
Mage 2, keep your focus. You got this. Hesitating for a split second could be the difference between life and death. Stay sharp, think fast.
Roger that.
To Golem and Mage, job well done. All bombers are down. Our radar shows no sign of bandits. You're in the clear.
Good going, Mage 2. Flight Commander looks like he's got what it takes. Let's slow down. It's just one sortie. Don't try to be a hero. I want you to make it back in one piece, you hear?
Yeah, I gotta side with the boss man on this.
Golem Squadron, this is HQ. Did you confirm any drones?
What's the deal with all the drones?
Golem 1, return to base and report for debriefing.
Seawater at Gunther Bay. I am Princess Rosa Cassette Delise of the Kingdom of Erusia. Citizens of Erusia.
Call sign is Mage 2. Verify and feedback.
You
Mage
do,
2, clear for takeoff.
you do get a replay at the end of every mission. It's a nice thing to have, but largely redundant if you just did the mission and it all went well. I will say that of the 3 arcs that the story is made up of, I think the first is the strongest.
We are currently assessing the damage to the base. We have confirmed that the aircraft carrier Albatross was sunk. We know the attacking bogies were from Erusia. International Union peacekeeping force bases all over the Yuuzhan continent were attacked in the same way. The damage is severe. Many wars are lost by failing to recover from the opening blows. That means successfully retaliating was very important. You may have turned the tides of battle here. You have our thanks.
So, just to go into that, of the main 3 arcs, the first is definitely the shortest, it's essentially the prologue, but it's also the one that I feel is most tightly done story-wise. By the time you get to the 3rd arc, there's definitely a lot of jumping around and skipping that happens.
As of 1 p.m. today, the Kingdom of Erusia has declared war on the Osean Federation. As soon as the news broke out, enemy aircraft began bombing Osean territory, causing widespread destruction. The Air Defense Force has released a statement saying this violent attack was carried out by drones. They speculate the drones were secretly transported to Osea in shipping containers and launched remotely. The Secretary of the Navy has stated that the enemy was targeting naval ports across the country. According to the Secretary, all of the nation's aircraft carriers, including one still under construction, sustained severe damage in the attacks. We have yet to hear back from the department as to the fate of Osean carriers currently at sea. Hold on, I've just received breaking news. The International Space Elevator, which is being built in southern Yuuzha, has been seized by the Erusian army. Reports say former President Harling was touring the site at the time, but his current whereabouts are unknown. Our sources in government tell us it was Harling's policies regarding the space elevator that caused economic frictions in the area, and which ultimately led to this war. Located near Erusia, on the continent of Yuuzha, the space elevator has been under construction for some time now. The Executive Office of the Osean Federation has declared a national state of emergency. They have ordered all its armed forces, including Yuuzhan peacekeepers, to mobilize and make the necessary preparations to launch an immediate counterattack. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is officially at war. Stay tuned for further updates.
Breaking news from ENN. Osea launched an attack on the capital today, striking Farbanti from their aircraft carrier, the Kestrel II. After a brutal battle, the Erusian Air Force successfully repelled them. During the air raid, the Osean Air Force fired missiles at the city and managed to shoot down a number of Erusian fighters. Some of the disabled planes then crashed into residential areas.
The world was screwed. 20 years ago, the Earth got slammed by an asteroid. Yuuzha was on the wrong side of the planet and got hit. Hard. Refugees swarmed the Erusian Republic, the biggest country on the continent, plunging it into chaos. They were desperate and started a war, one they had no hope of winning. That's the war my dad fought and died in. The biggest nations from 2 continents went head-to-head, and the so-called righteous Oseans struck the deal that ended it. They fancied themselves the only nation that could bring peace and stability to the world. They even tried saving the Yuuzhans, still suffering from the disaster. That's how a space elevator, stretching way up into the sky, ended up being built in Yuuzha, paid for by the Oseans. President Harling said he did it out of compassion for his fellow humans, but to the folks in Erusia, it looked like Osea was moving in to take over. Erusia went from being a republic back to being a kingdom. When they started this new war, they managed to get the drop on everyone. The second the declaration hit the news, Erusian forces took control of the space elevator without spilling a single drop of blood. President Harling was touring the elevator when it happened and disappeared. Then, while that was going on, the Erusian ships that were docked all around Osea released a swarm of drone fighters they had hidden on board in containers. No one thought they were capable of doing what they did that day. With pinpoint accuracy, they managed to take out everything that was military, and not a single civilian was hurt in the process. Osea pissed lots of people off with their huge military presence around the world. Erusia didn't have the same reach, but they could hit their targets faster and cleaner. And when all this was going down, I just so happened to be in my flying drag racer. in case you were wondering. Yeah, I survived. I crashed in a bombed-out Osean Air Force base, then got arrested for breaking wartime aviation laws or some crap. The world went from being at peace to being at war, all in the blink of an eye.
Princess Rosa Cassette Delise of the Kingdom of Erugia. Today, Osean airstrikes have shattered the lives of countless Erusians. Their attacks practically leveled the school I went to. It is heartbreaking.
I was tried, found guilty, and stuffed into a cargo ship. For company, I had some court-martialed soldiers. And remember those mothballed planes I told you about before? They were loaded on the ship, too. We headed off down south for several days, and then swung east. That's how I got here. I was thousands of kilometers from Erugia, on the opposite side of the Usian continent. For a port, it was dull as hell. It had 3 rusty patrol boats, and the base? The fences were topped with razor wire, the tower had a searchlight and machine guns, and a truck with a gun turret was parked in front of the gate. Its gun was aimed at the yard. This was a prison. This place looked like a full-on base, but half the tanker trucks were just big balloons, and the runways weren't even paved, just painted on the dirt. The whole place was just one big fat lie. The only reason I was here is because they knew I'd restored a supersonic plane. They wanted me to make something out of the mothballed planes they brought, that they could park on the fake runway. Can you believe that shit? So, I tried to escape. They found out, and set the dogs on me.
Erugia has made a declaration to the Osean Federation and all countries on the Usian continent stationing the IUN peacekeeping force that we are now at war. Right after the declaration was made, surprise attacks began around the continent that have inflicted major damage to our armed forces. Forces aligned with Erugia are currently appearing throughout Usia. The combination of these forces has overwhelmed the majority of the continent, and they are now encroaching on us in the east. Additionally, the multinational space elevator has been seized by the Erusian military. After the previous war, the space elevator became both a symbol of peace and a valuable asset in the fight against growing energy concerns. Whoever has control of it will have enormous influence over the entire continent. We cannot turn a blind eye to this critical situation. The Fort Gray's Air Base Squadron has been entered into the order of battle to reclaim the elevator as an advance element. First, you will attack all hostiles coming in the east of Schofield Plateau to stop any interference with the Allied ground troops. The enemy has deployed several vehicles equipped with anti-air radar along the roads. You are to destroy them. They should not pose much of a threat. However, there is a high likelihood that the attack will draw more enemy air support. If that happens, fight them off swiftly and establish air superiority.
So while I'm on it, there is an aircraft tree, which is essentially you unlock throughout the campaign and everything else, multiplayer as well. You start either on the far right with the basics, and then slowly grow, and you can push your way into the tree for whatever you wish to unlock. Personally, I quite like the system. It lets you have a bit of control over what you're getting, and a single run through the campaign gives you enough points, money, currency, whatever you want to call it, to basically unlock an entire branch. So as long as you've got a pretty decent idea of what you're after, be it a fast fighter, some sort of like bomber, you'll be able to climb for what you want. overall, I would actually say that the gameplay of this is actually really on point the whole way through. My only real negatives towards the game is actually more in the storyline than the
Current target is
gameplay.
on rails, but there's still military vehicles and anti-air weaponry. Destroy the target. But HQ has made it clear that no harm should come to civilians and no damage is to be done to public facilities.
But, any aircraft shot down could land in civilian territory.
No point arguing. That's how war is these days.
Do you have visual on the anti-air radar vehicles? They should be close.
Yep.
Fox 2. Targeting range of guns.
Intercept! Fire the AA! Get the radar vehicle out of there!
It's popping off now, Trigger. The war has officially begun. They've got their anti-air guns aimed right at us.
Accelerate! Being attacked by enemy aircraft! We're using the containers now. Those weapons are meant for tactical flexibility.
Enemy interceptors inbound. Prepare to engage in 30 seconds.
Here they come. Take them down. Okay, recruits. Pay attention to who's on what side. The newest IFF is connected to our entire force via satellites. It's reliable, so trust your radars.
That was the last radar vehicle. Great work.
The clouds don't just affect your field of vision. They also mess with your HUD and radar. The Seekers can sometimes lose their lock-on to their targets, too.
They have a lock on you.
Clear ground. School 3, get the bailout down.
Golem 1, enemy will crash in a residential area.
Just worry about staying alive for now.
Radar vehicle's destroyed, but the interceptor shows no sign of retreating. Take it out. Continue with the mission. Crush as many as you can.
Enemy transports are taxiing.
H2, Box 2.
Breaking to escape lock.
Good work, Trigger. The enemy's a lovely pile of scrap.
You're not raising the radar vehicle. Launch manually. Redo the setup. Here's some feedback from those forwards. Like your manuals, you know,
Oh.
you can understand.
Orders to take down the
Overall,
enemy without damaging any other auxiliaries. That's gonna be a circus.
the gameplay of this is
5
actually
targets
quite fun.
remaining.
And quite a strong card. There's a long, well, there's 20 levels and you don't see anything duplicated. It's definitely not padded out. In fact, it almost feels the other way. I finished my original run through hungry for more rather than yeah, that was done. And I'm sort of hoping DLC fills that gap now.
Keep your mind focused. Launch operations completed. Whenever you're ready. Stand clear 15 meters. UAVs ready to launch. Away. What happened? Status report.
Multiple bogeys on radar. They're close.
Wait, they're being launched.
You're cleared to engage. They're probably hostile.
Judging by the way they look and move, they've got to be drones. Well spotted, Clown. No doubt about it, we're dealing with UAVs. But that doesn't change a thing. Just think of them as somewhat clever decoys. Take them all down. These drones have great agility. All aircraft. You know what high G turns are, right? Use them. HQ, this is Golem 1. Bandits confirmed as UAVs. Repeat, bandits are drones.
Golem 1, that doesn't matter. Destroy all enemy fighters and get out.
It doesn't matter.
You
say we can change it in an instant. Get over it. Yeah, I just wish they'd give us a bit more warning.
H2, Fox 2.
Don't warning.
Enemy UAV confirmed destroyed. Hell yeah. Golem Squadron, you're not gonna let Mage get all the glory, are ya?
3 enemies to go.
What I will say that this game feels like it's missing is a level editor or a custom map maker of some kind. There's an awful lot of quite interesting mechanics that appear in one level and you don't really see again.
The enemy knows a few moves, but that's about it. Just chase him down and pull the triggers, dude. I'm buying dinner for anyone who takes down an enemy. You're doing good. Just 2 more.
Crap. Aircraft is icing up. I'm getting a warning.
Get out of the clouds. The ice will melt.
1 to go. Let's get through this without any casualties. Mage 2, missile away.
Nice kill, Trigger. Enemy aircraft confirmed down.
The skies are clear. Nice work, everyone. Mission complete. RTB.
No casualties. We couldn't have done any better. Returning to base.
I don't know. Maybe the bandits we took down caused civilian casualties.
No point arguing. That's how war is these days. You shoot, someone gets killed. The guys in charge take care of the rest.
Yeah, it would be nice if there was some sort of level editor so you could combine mechanics from a couple of the different missions to see how it goes down. Or introducing different enemy types into an existing mission.
You've given us air superiority by destroying their radar. The first barrier keeping us from retaking the space elevator is gone. Now is the time to group up and begin the counteroffensive. Let us reclaim what is ours.
Because functionally, single-player wise, this game is the campaign and then that's it. You can replay the campaign on higher difficulties, you can go back and do specific levels, and there is a bit more to find in some of them. I did pause for a moment in the first level doing it because I spotted what's called an enemy ace, which is a particularly high difficulty AI that's an optional objective, but decided I'm not going to do that for this run through, for recording it right now.
The surprise attacks carried out after the declaration of war saw the peacekeeping forces of various countries, including Osea, suffer major damage. The ships moored around the space elevator and near Gandar Bay have been hit particularly hard. Numerous ships have been sunk and abandoned. Fortunately, our cutting-edge aircraft carrier Kestrel 2 was at sea, so it was spared from the attack. Kestrel 2 is now preparing to launch another attack against Erusia's capital, Farbanti. The aircraft carrier Vulture also managed to escape Gandar Bay safely. However, it lost all its aircraft, so it's sailing empty. Today, the International Union Peacekeeping Force reclaims its bid to the space elevator. The Fort Grays Island Air Base Squadron will rendezvous with the carrier Vulture for a joint mission. The first objective will be to seize air superiority in Schoppenberg in order to secure a route for the support squadrons. The enemy maintains air superiority over Schoppenberg, so expect heavy resistance from enemy aircraft. There's more, so listen carefully. Right from the start of the war, the enemy has been deploying drones. They're using a new advanced type of drone. The unmanned airborne aircraft carrier, the Arsenal Bird, carries this new drone, MQ-101. The Osean Army headed up the development of the massive Arsenal Birds and dispatched them to the space elevator to provide support. However, it's been reported that the carriers may have fallen into the hands of the Erusian forces. If that's true, it could be a significant obstacle for us. We need to regain control of the space elevator ASAP. Good luck out there.
On the story side of things, the biggest sort of letdown is that there's a lot of very complex ideas that the campaign plays with once or twice, but never really delves into. You heard in the previous mission about civilian casualties. That's really not touched on much more. And it's an opportunity that they could have taken. And I feel like they had a lot more material to use in the story, and they just stopped because they ran out of the levels that they wanted to build.
H2, begin takeoff sequence. You're cleared for launch. H2 is away. H2, specified altitude reached. Restrictions lifted. Good luck.
Mage Squadron, this is the situation. Gollum and the other bases squadrons already joined forces and are engaged. You guys will arrive right in the middle of the action. Mage Squadron, eliminate all bandits in the current airspace. We have the upper hand, but that doesn't mean we can ease up. Good luck.
Mage 1, Wilco. Mage 1 to Gollum 1, thank your lucky stars. Looking good, Mage Squadron. Keep up that pressure. Trigger time to show the other guys that we get wet wild and do dirty, dirty things. Once you hit one of them, stick to them like glue. Don't let them out of your sights, even in the clouds. And so, your first hunting season begins.
Enemy reinforcements. I don't like these on. Red Market, bailing out! Cardinal Squadron, take them down.
If you can't evade a missile, use chaff and flares. Your fingers should still move, even if you're in a 9G turn.
Friendly lost.
4 remaining.
We're getting our ass kicked. Throw reinforcements. They got me.
3 remaining.
I think the most underlying key for the whole story campaign in this is that gameplay has been the dictating force. And where those two things have meshed well with the campaign, which is especially prevalent in the first 2 arcs, and very heavily in the first one specifically. It plays really well. But you get later into the game and the storyline is being explained by text ups rather than unfolding within.
Our radar shows no sign of bandits. You're in the clear.
I haven't even broken a sweat.
Seems to be crazy to pick a fight with us. A rabid dog would know better.
Missile incoming! Evade! Break! Break!
What the hell?
Caution! Missile!
Caution! Large aircraft is approaching. All aircraft, stay alert. We just learned that Eruzia is utilizing the Arsenal bird. Those bastards. They had that thing combat ready this whole time.
Enemy has a radar lock.
We're just waiting for mission command.
Break, now!
change in game plan. Destroy the arsenal bird.
Gold Squadron, take out Big Baby Huey.
I can't get a read on these bandits. They're dodging everything I throw at them.
Damn. Skeleton 1 lost. Skeleton 2, take over command.
Gargoyle Squadron, this is Gargoyle 1. Skeleton Squadron needs help.
Status?
Find the situation.
Golem 2, missile, speed!
Evading!
This is Golem 3, Golem 2 is hit!
Status report. Shit, Golem 2, do you copy?
This is Golem 2. Instruments still appear to be functioning okay.
Skeleton 3, break! Break! Missile!
He's too fast, I can't keep up.
Skeleton 3's lost.
Keep coming! What's the plan?
Where's that report? Continue to maintain air superiority.
HQ, what's happening?
Skykeeper, I repeat, maintain air superiority.
How'd that happen?
What the hell? Caution. All aircraft, stay alert.
Get out of there!
Breaking!
I'm breaking off!
If it wasn't
Skeleton 2
clear,
lost.
if it wasn't clear from the fact that there was such a large
Skeleton Squadron is down. We've had too many losses. All squadrons, command has ordered a complete withdrawal. Leave the operation area immediately.
Brilliant observation. If it was earlier, more of us would have survived the hearing.
Save your chatter for the debriefing. Golem and Mage Squadron, give our allies some time to escape.
We'll go, but Golem 2's hit. Gotta send her back. Let's get dirty, Trigger.
Shoot down those UAVs. Don't let them touch any friendlies.
Golem 2, head back to base.
Gargoyle 1, escort Golem 2.
Continuing the mission. Still got my wings. Trigger doesn't need to fill it. I'm back and I...
It won't make any difference up here. Get back to base and cool your head.
Copy that. Returning home.
If it wasn't clear by the fact that there is such a large thing appearing so early on, this game does feel has fights. It's actually what makes a reasonably satisfying ending.
Retreating aircraft, leave the AO. Allies will hold off pursuit. Golem Squadron, Mage Squadron, hang in there and come back safe. Mage 2, UAV down. Mage 2.
I'm on this one still.
Almost to the point that the last 3 missions of the campaign are basically just different boss fights.
This is Gargoyle 1. Leading Operation Airspace of Golem 2.
Retreating aircrafts, prepare for combat. It's a bogey. Gargoyle 1, Golem 2, engage now. Attack.
One advantage. Distance 30.
Gargoyle 1. Caution! Missile! Skykeeper. Gargoyle 1 lost.
What the hell? Golem 2, status report. Just talk to me.
I'm against an Su-30. Orange wingtips. I can't shake it off. It's matching me move for move.
Golem 2, stop dogfighting and run.
I'm taking it. I don't get it. Why isn't it opening fire? I'm scared.
Good job, Mage 2. We want as many guys out here as possible.
I'm grateful you're around.
Golem 2, what's your status? Status report.
She's a predator. The weak get eaten.
Golem 2, get a hold of yourself. Golem 2, get away from the enemy.
Mage 2, support!
got Brony.
I'm afraid he's long gone by now. Sorry. Mage 2, UAV down. What up, buddy?
Fort Grace aircraft. I'll let you take it easy next time.
All UAVs have been splashed.
I said what I had to say. About what? Not a girl who'd retreat. Just not in her DNA. That was the right decision at the time. No, I should have never let a fledgling like her out of my reach to begin with.
Golem Squadron, Mage Squadron, withdraw.
And it's moments like that that make some of the story missions really quite good. That's by far not the only time where story unfolds in mission.
Beach 2, we have you on radar. You are cleared for approach. The deck is clear. Beach 2, you are cleared for landing. 3,000 to carrier. Lower your speed.
And to put it bluntly, basically everything to do with the Su-30s.
Bank right. 1,500 to carrier. Beach 2, lower your nose. You're too high.
I'm gonna miss that.
Pass the guidance limit. Make a visual landing.
I don't remember there being a carrier landing this early on when I did this before. And that's definitely not how you land.
Beach 2, we have you on radar. You are cleared for approach. The deck is clear. Beach 2, you are cleared for landing. Lower your speed. Beach 2, bank right. 1,500 to carrier. Beach 2, nose up. You're too low. Perfect, Beach 2. I knew you'd be back. Now return to base.
But yes, basically everything that goes to the Su-30 storyline, well, subplot within the campaign, is all done as in-mission elements.
Unfortunately, the two-front offensive was a failure. The aircraft carrier Kestrel II was sunk during the attack on Farbanti. Carrier-borne aircraft mistakenly bombed urban areas, and this has turned public opinion in neutral countries against us. Our own forces also suffered heavy losses. If it weren't for a few extraordinary fighters, many of us wouldn't have made it home. The situation is grim. We have precious little time, however. We have to get to the space elevator.
Here he comes. Mihai's looking worse. Thank God he has his granddaughters here to help him out. They're sisters, 15 and 10. Engaging the enemy in combat so we could use his physiological data to improve the drones had always taken a toll on Mihai's body. But today, he was really showing his age. The drones we based on his data were being taken down at a faster rate now compared to when the war began. When Mihai found that out, he insisted on flying to the front lines to see it for himself. Sometimes he could be so stubborn. His age wasn't the only thing affecting his health. Over the years, flying at high altitudes for prolonged stretches of time had ravaged and poisoned his body. But he was a man of grit. Today, after 28 years, he saw combat again. If his flight suit still wasn't good enough to protect him, I can't imagine how many Gs he hit today during the battle. As a pilot, he exceeds all our expectations. It's going to take a bit more tweaking before our drones can match his skill.
How penal is this penal unit, you ask? This place is a shithole. If you took the stink of all the corruption in the world, then corralled it all in one place, that would give you a pretty good idea of what the air smells like around here. We got all kinds of critters, too. Everything from flea-ridden guards, rabid dogs, and a mechanic doing the stretch for life. I can't forget the rats. Yeah, we got those. And some pilots who got their wings clipped, too. One's a great pilot, but a lousy thief. One's a gambler with no luck. And one's an anarchist with no balls. Their job here was to rev the engines on the fake runways. The idea was for Erusia's spy satellite to pick up the heat sig. Even though there weren't any real fighters here, it looked like it on their infrared. I bet you're wondering, if Erusia lost the war, how come they still have a spy satellite? 'Cause someone over there was smart enough to train a bunch of computer nerds to hack into half of Osia's satellites. That's how come. Every now and again, I'd try to bust out. And every single time, those damn dogs would drag me right back. When I was in my cell, I'd hear this voice coming from the guards room. It was the Erusian princess rallying her people on the Erusian national broadcast. All us prisoners had become big fans of hers. You want to hear something funny? The guards were big fans too. I swear to God, every time she was on the air, they'd turn up the volume on the radio and sit there listening. I could see how someone like her could win the hearts and minds of soldiers and workers alike. When the princess said something, you could tell she meant every word. Lately, she'd been having more fun with her speeches, and that made her seem even more charming. You could say her charm was like a virus. Whenever she'd point out stuff that was wrong with Osia, the prisoners in here went nuts. Hell, if anyone knew how messed up Osia was, it was the prisoners. They'd shout, "Burn Osia down." No way am I just gonna sit here and rot away in this hellhole. Dark blue. Instead of building fake-ass planes to trick Erusia, I'm gonna build one that'll really take off. You can count on that.
As proved by the failure of our previous strategy, the Arsenal birds have bolstered the enemy's anti-air network. This will be difficult to overcome. However, we still need to get swiftly to the space elevator no matter what it takes. Someone there is counting on us. The hero of the Circum-Pacific War and the man who spearheaded the construction of the space elevator. Osia's former president, Mr. Harling. Mr. Harling was inspecting the elevator when the war broke out. He's been classified as missing since the elevator was taken over by the Erusian forces. However, according to the latest intel, a military officer accompanying Mr. Harling hid him inside the facility. Both are waiting for a chance to escape. Enemy anti-air radar network has been set up around the space elevator. It's likely a large squadron would be detected. We will send a single aircraft through the network and send in a rescue team soon after. a number of anti-air radars have been set up around the space elevator. However, our reconnaissance suggests their network is weakest along the southeastern coast of Selatapura, so we can elude the enemy's observation. There are a lot of rain clouds this time of year. Flying through the clouds will enable us to stay hidden from their radar. If you happen to be detected by their radar, we will be forced to abort the mission. The lone pilot who will head up this strategy is you, Trigger. After you bust through, secure the rescue craft's landing zone by taking out the anti-air weapons. Gollum and others will arrive shortly for support. Provide escort for Mr. Harling's craft after rendezvous. Good luck out there, everyone.
Aircraft preparations complete. Sortie ASAP.
For anyone out there that's particularly curious on how long this takes, as it's clear, or was evident with me in that landing, I'm not the best pilot.
Entering operation area. Imposing radio silence. We'll radio you, but you are not permitted to make contact.
If you're spotted, the mission is over. Stay out of enemy radar. Use of weaponry is also strictly forbidden. Okay, you're heading up the Harling rescue mission. The success of this mission depends on you. Good luck.
Yes, as evident, I'm not the best pilot, but I knocked over the campaign the first time on normal in about 12 hours, for those that find that particularly relevant. Definitely lengthened out in later missions, because this is currently mission 4 and we're just short of an hour right now. There's 20 overall. You see,
H2, you're icing up.
Caution. Pull up. Icing.
Careful of ice formation in the clouds.
you do see some recurring ideas used. There is in Marine Total two I think, escort missions. There is also quite a number of ground assault missions, but more prevalently there is actually a number of stealth missions. And personally I found both of them quite, this being one of them, I found the second one a really fun mission to play. And this does actually get, as I said before, there is, the end of the game is essentially just 3 missions of boss fights.
No change. Trigger, you got 2 directions you can take up here. Just go with your gut. Don't worry, we're watching over you. Making good progress, Trigger. You're currently halfway to your rendezvous point. Look, I'm not gonna lie. It's just gonna be you and your radar out there. Just know, you got a bunch of people pulling for you. And I'm one of them. You're 3/4 of the way. Been a long fight, but you're nearly home. Harling is still the president in my eyes.
We have bandits?
He ended the war, built the space elevator, and launched a spaceship from it. Despite his success, he remained a humble hero. I'll do my best to save him. Lend me a hand, Trigger.
No problem. Situation normal. No change. RTD, going home.
Rendezvous point dead ahead. Hang in there. Trigger, the first stage of the mission is clear. Don't celebrate yet. The real fight's about to get started. Radio silence is now lifted. The auxiliary craft will be arriving shortly. Destroy the anti-air around the space elevator. We're securing Sea Goblin's landing zone. Fox 2. Page 2, target destroyed. Target destroyed. Page 2, target down. Target down. Nicely done.
Trigger, sorry about the wait. Cavalry's here. Column Squadron. Trigger jumped through the fire. Now it's our turn. Understood.
Gargoyle Squadron, stay focused. You all know your job.
All aircraft, eliminate the enemy before they can respond. Sea Goblin will arrive shortly. Eliminate hostile anti-air before then. Half of the anti-air guns down.
Sea Goblin, you arrived. Do we have a clear LZ?
Mission still in progress. Stand by. Locked. Half of the SAM sites are down. Mage 2, rescue team can't land until anti-air weapons are down. Destroy them. All SAM sites down. There are still AA guns. Destroy them and secure the LZ. All anti-air guns destroyed. The landing zone is secure. Sea Goblin, you are clear to land.
Roger. Running from sight. Almost there.
Multiple bandits over Selatapura Harbor. They're container-launched UAVs.
Rescue craft tagged on. Initiate.
Pulled me out of that
Craft on
stall.
the ground is defenseless. Golem and Mage, destroy all hostiles.
It's been a long journey, but you're on the home stretch.
Gargoyle will stand by near the space elevator.
Sea Goblin, heading over to the express location now. Run for the container!
We'll pass up with exhaust before the enemy wears out.
Mage 2, target destroyed.
Yeah, Mage 2 destroyed the target.
Target is in range of guns.
Locked, it's chow time.
That first one. Actually hit.
Mage 2, vehicle destroyed.
Ambush! Fire from the far shore! They're targeting us! Get behind the chopper!
UAVs approaching the space elevator. Stop them. Eliminate all enemy UAVs. Don't let up.
Return fire! Sierra 2, hold position! We're cut off! Taking fire! We're pinned down! Shoot back! Express identified! Behind the gantry crane! Mr. Harling, stay right there! Jacob's been hit! Incoming rocket!
Sea Goblin, all survivors, respond. Is Mr. Harling alive? Be confirmed down. That's about half. Mop up the rest.
They got the chopper and Sierra too! That was thermobaric! Rocket!
There have been rumors circulating for a little
This is
while.
Colonel Johnson. Do you copy? I am with President Hurley. Rescue unit down. All of the soldiers have this radio.
same way. We'll figure something out.
We found an Norwegian transfer craft. His engines are on.
I heard you were in the Air Force, Colonel. Can you fly?
Better than Mr. Hurley.
Will do. 3 remaining. Let's take it up a notch, okay? All squadrons be advised. The call sign is Mother Goose 1. I've sent the information via the data link. One remaining.
Yeah, it's been rumors circulating for a while now that the remasters of 4, 5 and 0, the Ace Combat games 4, 5 and 0 in the works. This is, I got admit after playing this one, I'm actually really eager for them to do remasters. It's been quite a number of years since I played Ace Combat. It's actually 12 years since the last game came, well, the last main series game came out in general. So I am actually quite keen, and I think if they do a set of remasters and it does end up being a remaster of the 3, it solves the problem of 7 feeling a little short.
All UAVs have been splashed. All aircraft. Former President Harling's transport is ready to take off. Mother Goose 1, take off. Let's wait till we're home safe. Mage Squadron, Mother Goose 1 is heading south. Provide support. 5 minutes remaining.
Skykeeper, bogey's on my radar. Bearing 220.
Sighting confirmed as MQ-101, forerunner for Arsenal Bird.
The big bird is coming, huh?
Mage, protect Mother Goose 1. Shoot down any UAVs. Gollum, intercept the UAVs.
Golem 1 will kill. That last battle taught me a lot about those a-holes. Golem 2, don't stray off on me. Always maintain element.
Wilco, forming up.
Fox 2.
Hey, shoot, that's the stuff!
Roger. Transport. Orders are to fire warnings. Yes, sir. He's an old-timer. No hostile UAVs are used.
Mother Goose 1, UAV on your tail. Take evasive action.
Let you have
I hear you. This isn't exactly a point.
Locked on. Strategic AI chose Liberty over Justice. Courses have already changed.
That ship isn't one of ours. Where's the signal? Gargoyle, change radio frequency. Really cool one here. We're about to leave the airspace. Keep your fingers crossed. Gargoyle, inside. Attention, Gargoyle Squadron. Babel.
3 minutes remaining.
Gargoyle 3 to Babel.
Babel, roger.
Gargoyle did their job.
Figured, but why weren't we informed? The IUN can't coordinate between branches as usual.
Gargoyle Squadron, report. Roger. Continue to maintain air security monitoring.
Mother Goose 1 hit.
Mother Goose 1 has been hit. Colonel Johnson, respond. Mage Squadron, assess the situation.
This is Mage 1. I have Mother Goose 1 in my sight. sight. The cabin's fine, but the cockpit's not looking so good.
Colonel Johnson, are you okay?
Just send help this way. I'm sorry. Get Mr. Harley. Please.
Mother Goose 1, respond. Mother Goose 1.
Skykeeper, should we continue providing cover for Mother Goose 1?
Of course. Mage 2, locked.
Thanks for the help, Trigger. Glad you're here.
Mother Goose 1 is turning. What's going on? They're heading to the space elevator.
It's flying at a steady altitude. Who's in control?
It's not the Colonel. Mr. Harling's the only one on board. Mother Goose 1, respond! Mr. Harling, please respond!
We can't protect our objective if it sticks around here. Now's not the time to freak out, fellas. We've still got a job to do, so let's do it. Keep your mind focused.
Mr. Harling, we are not giving up on you. The UAVs are approaching Mother Goose 1.
Let's go, Trigger.
Take him down now, Mage Squadron. 1 minute remaining. Mother Goose 1, turn 180 degrees and exit combat airspace. Mother Goose 1, Mr. Harlan, are you piloting that plane?
Arsenal for Liberty, passing waypoint 2.
The UAVs are continuing their attack.
We're obsessed with that transport.
UAVs launching an Arsenal for Liberty, heading towards the AO.
Mate 2! Mate 2!
Oh my god, Mother Goose 1 has been shot down.
Where'd the missile come from?
Mage 2 fired that.
It was Ocean. A friendly missile hit him.
Verifying the situation. Stop speculating.
Friendly fire. I saw it.
Mother Goose 1 exploded in air. No one could have survived.
Looks like it tried to protect the elevator. Erusian bastards, they just killed a hero.
Mage 1. Is it Trigger? Trigger was the closest. UAVs were crawling all over our objective. I told you to keep a goddamn eye on the hatchling. It must have been a mistake.
Arsenal bird is entering. All aircraft withdraw immediately. Trigger, you can't fly for a while. You understand?
The operation to rescue former President Harling has failed. Sadly, there is no hope he survived. Trigger, you are suspected of assassinating the former president. There will be an inquiry. There will most probably be a court-martial.
And it's moments like that that I feel make the campaign good. The downside is that there are so many ideas that it plays with throughout the length of it, and it's set up in this first arc that it never gets around to doing anything with, which ends up being the boundary between it being good and great. Having completed the campaign, redoing that particular mission actually it makes you realise a few of the subtleties they put into it. I'm not going to spoil them here. There may be a discussion on that later in a later video, but yeah, they definitely set up and played with a few stronger ideas. It's just a pity that they didn't dive into too much of it. Overall, the campaign's solid and quite very fun to play. It's just a pity that there's a lot of it that does feel rushed, where they just ran out of ideas for good levels, so they basically just stopped the campaign where it was. With more DLC coming, I'm hoping that fleshes it out. It's a pity that I'm got to rely on the idea that the DLC is going to flesh out what was missed, but I am hoping that it does do a good job of, well, I'm hoping that it fleshes it out and does do a good job of it. But yeah, overall the game's really quite good. It's good solid gameplay the whole way through. It's just pity that there's no custom mission editor so that you can play with a lot of the very enjoyable mechanics that they set up outside of the very strict mission that they do it in, and it's a pity that the campaign didn't have the time to play with a lot more of the ideas that it sets up. There's a very long subtext that maybe Osia's not the good guys in this, and then it basically just disappears once you're about 3/4 of the way through the campaign. And it's a real pity that they don't play it that way, because there's really a lot of evidence to go that way, and it's you get to a stage of very conflicting feelings, and well, at least I did, and I sort of wish that they had taken it a bit further. But overall, it's solid. And well, I've run over an hour now, and actually my recording has apparently stopped visual, so I don't know how much of this is still going to be saved. Hopefully all of it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We do actually have a review in the works for the game, and we'll hopefully have that up at some point in the future. And catch you next time.